Among various taxons, the 7 taxons are considered as obligatory taxons. Obligatory taxons. 7 of them are considered as obligatory taxons. Okay, what are they? Species, genus, family, order, class, phylum, kingdom. So these 7 taxons. All these 7 taxons are called obligatory taxons. The remaining taxons are known as intermediate taxons or facultative taxons. That is, when any animal is discovered here now and you want to classify their particular organism, you ought to create these 7 taxons compulsorily for the particular newly discovered organisms. That's why they are referred to as obligatory taxons. Rest of the taxons are called intermediate taxons or facultative taxons. So what are the obligatory taxons? Species, genus, family, order, class, phylum and kingdom. We shall talk about trinomial nomenclature. In trinomial nomenclature, the scientific name consists of genus, species and subspecies. Scientific name consists of genus, species and subspecies. The subspecies is also called variety or race. It is also called variety or race. Now what are subspecies? The subspecies differ from each other, certain morphological features, but they are not reproductively isolated here. They live in different geographical regions. They exhibit geographical isolation and they differ from each other in certain morphological features, but they can be crossed with one another easily to produce fertile offspring. So they are not reproductively isolated, but however they are isolated from each other geographically with certain morphological characteristics. So that method of classification is called trinomial nomenclature, which involves subspecies or variety or race. I shall give you an example here, the best example. Corvus splendens. This is the crow that lives in India and Pakistan. Where the genus, species and subspecies. Then you have another example, Corvus splendens insolens. Corvus splendens insolens. Insolens is the one that lives in Myanmar. It is a crow that lives in Myanmar. Then you have got another example, Corvus splendens protegates. Corvus splendens protegates. Corvus splendens protegates is the one which is called Ceylonese crow. Ceylonese crow. So this is the one which lives in Sri Lanka, this lives in Myanmar and this lives in India and Pakistan. Like that in trinomial nomenclature, the last word tells us about its geographical distribution. So such species can be called subspecies. And there are some subspecies which are morphologically similar but reproductively isolated here. The species which are morphologically similar, reproductively isolated are called sibling species. So the species which are morphologically similar and reproductively isolated are called sibling species. Morphologically they are more or less identical, but reproductively they are isolated from each other. So such species are known as sibling species. The concept of species was given by John Ray. John Ray is English naturalist, English taxonomist. As I made a mention earlier, he was the one who coined the term species, differentiated between genus and species, and he happened to be the father of British Natural History. Okay, British Natural History, and he has described characteristics of about 18,000 of plants and made a mention about them in a book called Historia Generalis Plantarum. And there are concepts put forth by different scientists according to Alfred Emerson. Species is considered as a group of genetically distinctive, reproductively isolated group. So according to Alfred Emerson species is genetically distinct. That is, the organisms which belong to species are genetically more or less identical, whereas they are reproductively isolated from the other species of the same genus, or from other species. So according to Alfred Emerson, it is genetically distinctive and reproductively isolated species. Then according to Lindsay, species is an aggregation of group of organisms which exhibit more or less similar morphological characteristics and reproductively isolated from all the other species. I shall repeat once again. According to Lindsay, species is an aggregation of group of organisms with slight morphological variations but with a common ancestry. All of them belong to the same ancestral stock and reproductively isolated from all the other species. Then according to Ernst Haeckel, species is considered as a potentially interbreeding population. Species is considered as a potentially interbreeding population which is reproductively isolated from the members of the other species. So like that, there are different concepts given by different scientists. According to Emerson, genetically distinctive reproductively isolated group. According to Lindsay, an assemblage of different organisms with more or less similar morphological characteristics with slight variations and all of them have a common ancestry and reproductively isolated from all the other species. According to Ernst Haeckel, it is a potentially interbreeding population reproductively isolated from all the other species. Then according to Dobzhansky, species is considered as a Mendelian group. What is Mendelian group? All the organisms that belong to a particular species have a common ancestry, exhibit more or less similar morphological characteristics. They share a common gene pool and reproduce easily to produce fertile offspring. So all the organisms that belong to a particular species have a common ancestry, exhibit more or less similar morphological characteristics. They share a common gene pool and thereby they produce fertile offspring. So such organisms can be considered as Mendelian group. So according to Dobzhansky, species is a Mendelian population. Now, the two kingdom classification was put forth by Linnaeus. These were put forth by Linnaeus. He divided the organisms into Plantae and Animalia. Plantae and Animalia. He called the Plantae Vegetabilia. So Vegetabilia and Animalia. The two kingdom classification was put forth by Linnaeus. Then later on, three kingdom classification was put forth by Ernst Haeckel. Ernst Haeckel divided the organisms into Protista, it is also called Protoctista or Protoctista. He included all unicellular organisms under this. Which is called Protista or Protoctista. Number 2, Metaphyta, with all multicellular plants under this. Number 3, Animalia, with all heterotrophs under this group here. But there was no clear taxonomic position for the prokaryotes under 3 kingdom classification. Both prokaryotic and eukaryotic unicellular organisms are placed under Protista according to Ernst Haeckel in 3 kingdom classification. Then with the discovery of the bacteria and the prokaryotes, scientists found it difficult to classify them, and it had become compulsory for them. It has become compulsory for them to create one more kingdom for the prokaryotes. So you have now, so 4 kingdom classification was put forth by Herbert Copeland, Now he placed all the prokaryotic unicellular organisms under Monera. Under Monera, he has placed all prokaryotic unicellular organisms. The next is Protista. He placed all unicellular eukaryotes under this. The next is Metaphyta. He placed all multicellular autotrophs under Metaphyta. Next is Animalia. He placed all multicellular heterotrophs under this. So the 4 kingdom classification was put forth by Herbert Copeland. The 4 kingdoms are Monera, including all unicellular prokaryotes. Protista includes unicellular eukaryotes. Metaphyta includes multicellular autotrophic organisms. Then Animalia includes multicellular heterotrophs. But however, there was no clear systematic position for the fungi in 4 kingdom classification. So in order to create a separate kingdom for fungi, 5 kingdom classification came into existence. Now the 5 kingdom classification was put forth by R.H. Whittaker. And according to R.H. Whittaker, the 5 kingdoms are: number 1, Monera. It is the kingdom of unicellular prokaryotes. Monera. It includes Archaebacteria, blue-green algae, blue-green, that is cyanobacteria, you call them. Cyanobacteria, Archaebacteria, Eubacteria, Rickettsia, PPLO. So all these belong to Monera. They are all prokaryotes. We shall talk about them in detail later on. So Archaebacteria, Cyanobacteria or blue-green algae, Eubacteria, Rickettsia and PPLO. All of them belong to Monera. Then you have second one, Protista. Protista is called kingdom of unicellular eukaryotes. It is the kingdom of unicellular eukaryotes, and it includes diatoms, dinoflagellates, euglenoids and slime molds. It includes diatoms, dinoflagellates, euglenoids and slime molds. Next we have third kingdom, that is Metaphyta. Metaphyta is the kingdom of multicellular autotrophs. It is the kingdom of multicellular autotrophs. That is all multicellular autotrophs, higher plants belong to metaphyta. Bryophyta, pteridophyta, angiosperm, gymnosperms, all of them belong to metaphyta. Then you have Animalia. It is the kingdom of multicellular heterotrophs. So all animals, all multicellular animals now belong to this kingdom here. Then you have fungi. Fungi is the kingdom of multicellular decomposers. Multicellular decomposers. So these are all the 5 kingdoms created by R.H. Whittaker. Monera, kingdom of unicellular prokaryotes. Protista, kingdom of unicellular eukaryotes. Metaphyta, kingdom of multicellular autotrophs. Animalia, kingdom of multicellular heterotrophs. Fungi, kingdom of multicellular decomposers. Now we shall do this in detail later on in the next class. Then now Whittaker's classification here now. In Whittaker's classification, Animalia is divided into different groups on the basis of various characteristics. They are also called basic body plans. They are the characteristics, fundamental characteristics of the Animalia. To start with, first one here now is basic body plan. Basic body plan with regard to organization, division of labor, organization, or you can say division of labor. Basic body plan and the base organization, that is division of labor. On the basis of division of labor here now, the organisms, that is animals, exhibit 3 kinds of division of labor. First you have cellular grade of organization. Cellular grade of organization. The cellular grade of organization is noticed in poriferans, phylum Porifera, where the cells are loosely arranged without any coordination, and cells are entrusted with different functions. Like choanocytes are there. They are meant for maintaining the water currents in the body cavity. They even bring about partial digestion of food here now. Then they even help in carrying the gametes. Like that, this now the cellular grade of organization is noticed in porifera here now. Then next you have tissue grade of organization. Tissue grade of organization. In tissue grade of organization, the cells with similar function, similar origin come together to form tissues here now. Tissue grade of organization is noticed in phylum Cnidaria. In phylum Cnidaria, tissue grade of organization is noticed. Then next you have organ system grade of organization. Organ and organ system grade of organization. Organ system grade of organization. This organ and organ system grade of organization is noticed right from Platyhelminthes to phylum Platyhelminthes to Chordata. Phylum Chordata. So in all of them, you find, like Platyhelminthes you find organ grade of organization. Nemathelminthes onwards, organs are full-fledged, So organ system grade of organization is noticed from Nemathelminthes onwards, So that is the first basic body plan, Bob plan on the basis of division of labor. Now the second is the Bob plan on the basis of number of layers. On the basis of number of layers. The basic body plan on the basis of number of layers, Under this you come across diploblastic animals and triploblastic animals. Diploblastic animals are Cnidaria and Ctenophora, where there are only 2 primary germ layers in the body wall, outer ectoderm or epidermis, inner endoderm or gastodermis. Then you have triploblastic organization. Triploblastic organization is noticed right from platyhelminthes onwards till chordata, where so the examples are platyhelminthes to phylum chordata. Platyhelminthes to phylum chordata. You have triploblastic organization. So there is a bar plan based on the number of layers, triploblastic animals and diploblastic animals. Yeah. Third one is the bar plan, that is basic body plan on the basis of symmetry. On the basis of symmetry. Basically, you come across two basic types of symmetries here now. That is, one is radial symmetry. Radial symmetry. Okay, radial symmetry. The animals which exhibit radial symmetry are also called radiates here now. Radial symmetry is noticed in phylum Cnidaria. Phylum Cnidaria, that is Scyphozoa, Anthozoa, Hydrozoa and all. Then next you have bilateral symmetry. Bilateral symmetry is noticed right from phylum Platyhelminthes to chordata. Phylum chordata, barring exceptions like adult echinoderms. Adult echinoderms are exceptional. Where adult echinoderms, the larvae are bilaterally symmetrical, while adults are pentamerous radially symmetrical. Then same way gastropods. Gastropods are asymmetrical because of torsion here now. So except these two groups here now, platyhelminthes to chordata, all of them exhibit bilateral symmetry here now. Then the rare type of symmetry is here now spherical symmetry. Spherical symmetry. This spherical symmetry is noticed in dinoflagellates. It is noticed in certain dinoflagellates. Dinoflagellates like volvox, chlamydomonas, okay, eudorina, all of them, they exhibit spherical symmetry here. Most of the planktonic organisms here now exhibit spherical symmetry here now. The next you have another type of symmetry, biradial symmetry. Biradial symmetry is exhibited by ctenophores and anthozoans. So in ctenophora and anthozoa you find biradial symmetry. Spherical symmetry is noticed among dinoflagellates like volvox, chlamydomonas, that is planktonic organisms. The most common types of symmetries are radial symmetry, also called radiates, that is phylum Cnidaria. Bilateral symmetry, they call them bilaterians, that is from phylum Platyhelminthes to phylum chordata, barring exceptions like adult echinoderms and gastropods. So there is a bar plan on the basis of body symmetry. Next is bar plan on the basis of body cavity. Bar plan on the basis of body cavity. On the basis of the body cavity, you divide them into number one, acoelomates. In acoelomates, body cavity is completely obliterated by the mesodermal tissue called parenchyma or mesenchyme. The best example for acoelomata is phylum Platyhelminthes. Phylum Platyhelminthes. Then next you have pseudocoelom. In pseudocoelomates the blastocele, the remnant of blastocele acts as coelom here now. The entire blastocele is not completely replaced here now, only a part of the blastocele gets replaced, and the leftover part of the blastocele, which is still remnant here now, is referred to as pseudocoelom. Pseudocoelom is noticed in the major phylum called Nematoda. Phylum Nematoda, you find this type of coelom. Then next you have eucoelom, that is true coelom, is a body cavity that lies between outer parietal or somatic layer and inner visceral or splanchnic layer. Eucoelom is again divided into two types now, schizocoelom and enterocoelom here now. Schizocoelom is present in Annelida, arthropoda, mollusca and vertebrata. Annelida, arthropoda, mollusca, vertebrata, you find schizocilum. Again in arthropoda and mollusca, schizocilum is secondarily modified into hemocoel. Enterocoelum is present in echinodermata, and all protocardids. Yes. So this is the Barb plan on the basis of the body cavity. Next is the Barb plan on the basis of fate of Blastopore. On the basis of fate of Blastopore. Now the Blastopore, which is the terminal opening of archenteron, in all protostomians it modifies into mouth. In all deuterostomians it modifies into anus. So on the basis of this you have got two groups. Protostomia, in which the Blastopore transforms into mouth. Deuterostomia, in which the Blastopore transforms into anus. Protostomia, your examples: Platyhelminthes 2, mollusca, Platyhelminthes, Nematohelminthes, Annelida, arthropoda and mollusca. Under deuterostomia, you got examples: echinodermata and entire chordata. Now in protostomians, the eggs are called mosaic eggs. And cleavage is spiral and determinate. Cleavage is spiral determinate and the eggs are referred to as mosaic eggs. Then in deuterostomians, eggs are known as equipotential eggs. Equipotential eggs are present here now, and the cleavage is radial and indeterminate. Cleavage is radial indeterminate and the eggs are equipotential. In this group, eggs are mosaic and the cleavage is spiral and determinate. So that is the Barb plan on the basis of the fate of Blastopore. Next you have Barb plan on the basis of blood circulation. Now under this you got two kinds of circulations here now, that is open blood vascular system and closed blood vascular system. Open blood vascular system and closed blood vascular system. Open blood vascular system is present in arthropoda and mollusca, urochordata, where the blood flows through wide channels called sinuses in the place of narrow arteries and definite arteries and veins. Wide channels called sinuses or lacunae are present. So blood flows through wide channels called lacunae or sinuses. Closed blood vascular system, blood flows through definite blood vessels, that is arteries and veins. Annelida among invertebrates, cephalopoda among molluscans, and in all higher vertebrates, that is fish to mammalia, you find closed blood vascular system. So that is the Barb plan on the basis of blood circulation. The next you have Barb plan on the basis of digestion, nature of digestion. Now suppose you take protozoa and porifera, digestion is intracellular. Protozoa and porifera, the mode of digestion is intracellular, takes place inside the food vacuole. Then you take Cnidaria. In Cnidaria, digestion is both intercellular and intracellular. That is, it partly takes place in gastrovascular cavity, Later on, the partially digested food is absorbed by endothelial cells and nutritive cells of the endoderm, where further digestion takes place. So partly extracellular and partly intracellular in cnidarians, and even in platyhelminths also it is partly intracellular and partly extracellular. And from nemathelminths onwards, nemathelminths to chordata, it is extracellular. So extracellular digestion is noticed from nemathelminths onwards. Then gut also, sac-like gut is present in platyhelminths. Complete gut is present from nemathelminths onwards. A sac-like gut with a single aperture is present in platyhelminths, because they don't have anus. And for the first time, you find the formation of anus in nemathelminths. So a complete gut is noticed from nemathelminths onwards. So these are the basic body plans. That is, 7 characters are there. On the basis of the 7 characters, the animal kingdom is divided into different groups. Now, animal kingdom is divided into 2 subkingdoms. You have parazoa and eumetazoa. Under parazoa you have example phylum Porifera. Now eumetazoa is divided into grades like Radiata and Bilateria. Under Radiata you have examples phylum Cnidaria, and Bilateria, that is, they exhibit bilateral symmetry here now. Bilateria is again divided into divisions. You have protostomia, deuterostomia, now under protostomia there are subdivisions. Subdivision Acoelomata. Under Acoelomata you have example phylum Platyhelminthes, Pseudocoelomata, example Nemathelminthes, Schizocoelomata, examples you have Annelida, Arthropoda, Mollusca. Then under Deuterostomia you have a single subdivision, that is Enterocoelomata. This is divided into Echinodermata and Chordata. So this is the entire classification of animal kingdom here now. Animal kingdom is divided into 2 subkingdoms, Parazoa and Eumetazoa. Parazoa, you have an example phylum Porifera, which are also called blind offshoot of evolutionary ladder because of several characteristics here now. Then Eumetazoa, with their tissue grade of organization and organ system grade of organization is present, true metazoans they are. Eumetazoa is divided into 2 grades, Radiata and Bilateria. Radiates is also called Diploblastica, example Cnidaria. Bilateria is also called Triploblastica. Bilateria is again divided into divisions, Protostomia and Deuterostomia. Protostomia is divided into subdivisions Acoelomata, Pseudocoelomata, Schizocoelomata. Acoelomata you got an example phylum Platyhelminthes. Pseudocoelomata you have an example Nematoda. Schizocoelomata there are 3 phylums, Annelida, Arthropoda and Mollusca. And under Deuterostomia there is a single subdivision Enterocoelomata. Enterocoelomata includes two phyla, Echinodermata and Chordata here. Okay, Echinodermata, Hemichordata and Chordata here. Echinodermata, Hemichordata and Chordata. Chordata is once again divided into Pisces, that is Protochordata, Urochordata and Cephalochordata. Both of them are referred to as protochordates here now. Then you got vertebrates. Under vertebrata, Pisces, Amphibia, Reptilia, Aves and Mammalia are placed. Pisces, once again there are three classes here now: Placodermi, Chondrichthyes and Ostricthyes here. So entire classification of animal kingdom here.